That's it, we're in trouble.
I'm caught.
Russia is destroying the main Orthodox shrine in Kyiv right at this moment. The Russian Federation Army has launched missiles at the Orthodox Kyiv Pechersk Lavra, which unfortunately is now burning. Right at this moment, at 3 a.m. Kyiv time, Russia is once again launching a massive missile attack on the Ukrainian capital. As a result of the attack, buildings on the territory of the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra caught fire, specifically the roof of the Assumption Cathedral is burning. Shocking footage of this fire has already appeared online, and in addition, at the time of recording this episode, 150,000 Kyiv residents were already left without electricity, as Russia is attacking the energy infrastructure. And unfortunately, the attack didn't end there. Right now, as I'm recording this episode, missiles and drones continue to fly over Kyiv. And for those viewers who will be watching this video in other languages, please pay attention. Ukraine is being attacked by enemies, military factories and oil terminals, but Russia is launching missiles directly at an Orthodox church. The Russians essentially have nothing sacred left at all. So far, the Russians have launched almost 30 ballistic and cruise missiles and dozens of drones at Kyiv. And this happened just 5 hours after Vladimir Putin complained to Donald Trump over the phone about Ukrainian shelling of Ukraine. And his name is Alexei Pechiy. Let's discuss together right now the first consequences of Russia's barbaric attack on the Ukrainian capital and what's happening now in the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra. So let's go through everything step by step. The internet is flooded with footage of the fire in the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra, right in the center of the Ukrainian capital. The Russians launched a massive attack on Kyiv on Sunday night as a result of what? Which is why the buildings on the territory of the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra caught fire, specifically the roof of the Assumption Cathedral is burning.
That's it, they hit it.
They caught fire!
The mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, reported, quote, a fire on the territory of the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra, a fire on the roof of the Assumption Cathedral. And as it became known later, the fire occurred as a result of a direct hit by a Russian missile right on the church. So, in other words, Russia deliberately targeted an Orthodox shrine, where, by the way, pro-Putin Russian priests once served there. The Kyiv City Military Administration reported, quote, it has been confirmed that structures on the territory of the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra caught fire, presumably as a result of a direct hit. We are currently determining the extent of the damage caused by the Russians. Measures are being taken to contain the situation according to safety protocols. A major fire broke out on the territory of the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra, causing significant damage. The Russians deliberately struck at the heart, one of the greatest Christian shrines. Overall, drones and ballistic missiles from the Russian Federation attacked the capital overnight into Monday, and the first details of the aftermath are already known. Many fires have been recorded in the capital, both in residential buildings and other structures, some of which have been destroyed. Among the affected districts of Kyiv are Obolonsky, Pechersky, and Podilsky. This is the situation at the time of recording this episode. It was also previously reported that the occupiers acted immediately after the phone conversation between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. On the evening of June 14, they sent 295 MS and 160 strategic bombers into the air and launched cruise missiles. Later, Ukraine's air forces reported detecting ballistic missiles heading for Kyiv. The first explosions in Kyiv occurred at around 1 o'clock in the morning. This information was confirmed by the mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, and the Kyiv City Military Administration reported that air defense forces were operating in the capital. By 1:30 in the morning, a series of powerful explosions had already occurred in Kyiv. The Russians carried out a ballistic missile strike, and the explosions from the ballistic strikes continued for about an hour. It is known that the consequences of the Russian attack have been recorded at least 7 locations in Kyiv. At the time of recording this video, 3 o'clock in the morning in Kyiv, it is known that 1 person has been injured. According to authorities, in Kyiv's Pechersky district, a 5-story residential building was hit, while in the Obolonsky district, a strike caused destruction in another residential building. In the Solomyansky district, there was a direct hit on a 9-story residential building. In the Obolonsky district, there is a fire on the upper floors of an unfinished building. In the Pechersky district, there was a preliminary report of a strike on a dormitory building, and there was also a fire on the territory of the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra. In addition, in the north of Kyiv, 140,000 customers are currently without electricity. The reason is that due to the enemy attack, power lines have been damaged. Well, in my opinion, the Russians have completely lost their minds, because I was just finishing recording this episode when the news came out that the Russians struck the Dovzhenko film studio in Kyiv, the film studio. Why? That's a completely open question. And after hitting the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra, striking the Dovzhenko film studio is a clear sign that this is not a mistake. No. They are deliberately launching missiles at cultural and religious sites in order to intimidate Ukrainians as much as possible. And here I will remind you that just a few hours before this attack, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump had a phone conversation in which the bull dictator Putin once again complained to the American president that Ukraine was allegedly attacking civilian sites in Russia. Therefore, Putin, as his aide Ushakov claims, told Trump that, quote, no attempts by Kyiv to strike at peaceful targets. Peaceful infrastructure in the Russian Federation will not change the situation on the battlefield. The Russian dictator also reiterated his old thesis, saying that if Volodymyr Zelensky wants a meeting, he should come to Moscow. Although I would like to remind you that just a few days earlier, the same Putin publicly refused such a meeting. Ushakov also reported that during the conversation, Putin for some reason reminded Trump that, quote, Zelensky should not forget the tragedy of the Holocaust. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of hidden threat. And right after such a threat, the Russians attacked the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra, the main Orthodox shrine, with ballistic missiles. And at the time of recording this episode, the Russians continued to attack Ukraine. Right at the moment of recording, cruise missiles and drones entered Ukrainian airspace. So by morning, the destruction will be even greater. And finally, it has just been reported that in Kharkiv, during a repeated strike on the same target, 5 rescuers were killed at once while they were dealing with the aftermath of the previous Russian attack. Therefore, blessed memory to all the Ukrainians who died, and eternal damnation, eternal curse to every unwashed, savage Russian. The entire civilized world hates you. Because you have nothing sacred left if you launch your missiles at the main Orthodox shrine of all Kievan Rus, the Kyiv Pechersk Lavra. You are animals. I'll leave it at that. Share your emotions and your opinions in the comments under this episode. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss any episodes on this YouTube channel. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.